Good morning. You're listening to Blainesworld show, heard each Wednesday here on WPVM in Asheville, North Carolina, 103.7. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and each week we focus on the Asheville theater scene, as well as some of the cool things that are happening in Asheville. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce Rich Nelson and the Rich Nelson Band. Welcome aboard, Rich.
Hey, thanks so much, Blaine. Great to see you.
Okay, likewise, and hello to you other guys there. And by the way, you can all wave to Facebook, all you fans and friends in Facebook world who are watching this. And I'm your host, again, Blaine Greenfield. I'm here in my Zoom studio in lovely Fairview, North Carolina. And I should mention that Rich Nelson is a rock musician originally from Detroit. He has been making music and art in the mountains of North Carolina since 2004. After playing in many bands for many years, Rich Nelson recorded his first studio solo album in 2018, his second in 2019. The third one, which we're going to be talking about today, Fret and Will be coming out in the not too distant future. And I see here, Rich, you were joined by two other members of your group now, and if they would introduce themselves, and if you would, guys.
Hi, I'm Jeff Manson, play bass guitar and background vocals.
Okay, super. And in the back, may I have to talk up a little bit?
Kevin Sproles on the drums.
Okay, good, Kevin. I hear you great. And so let me ask you first question, Rich, before we play some of your music. I always wonder in terms of how guys get involved in music. And I'll ask each of the other guys, but let me ask you first, when did you start singing and playing music and writing music?
So I loved the Beatles, of course, and the Stones and CCR. That's what my older brothers were listening to when we were growing up in Detroit. And then about when I was 11, I started playing piano, playing Elton John music and such, which I really loved. And then I switched to guitar pretty quickly and started playing David Bowie, Alice Cooper, Mott the Hoople, Queen. It was kind of like the next generation, that glam rock stuff. It really hit me hard. And then I've been through a lot of different phases over the years, from progressive rock to jazz rock. But I kind of always seem to come back to just that rock and roll music. Everybody tells us that our music kind of sounds like 70s rock, you know, Led Zeppelin, Cream, that type of stuff, Aerosmith.
Now, was that before 70s rock, but Mitch Ryder, wasn't he out of Detroit also?
He sure is. Billy LeVice, yes.
And what was his era? Was that your era?
Well, he actually started in the 60s. All that Jenny Take a Ride and
Right.
Devil in a Blue Dress, that was mid 60s. And I know I'm good friends with the drummer from that band, Johnny Badanjek, Johnny B. And he went on to be in the Rockets and such. And Mitch Ryder was in a band called Detroit and such. And yeah, there's quite a heritage up in Detroit. You got your Ted Nugent, Bob Seger, Alice Cooper got a big start there in the early 70s. It was quite a fertile scene. You know, it's a somewhat different vibe. I think Detroit is a real blue-collar factory town, and especially back then. And so when people went out, they would just wear their jeans and leather jackets, but they wanted you to put out some energy, you know. I mean, there was a thriving folk scene, too. Joni Mitchell lived there for a long time. And
Is Mitch Ryder still around?
yeah, he's still in
Because
Detroit.
I saw him, I'm a big Turtles fan. I saw him, he was part of the Happy Together Turtles thing, and he was traveling around with the Turtles. So I saw him perform. He was great.
But yeah, those guys toured the world. They went to Europe in the early 60s, the Detroit Wheels. And you know, Bruce Springsteen, he still does a Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels medley at the end. Jenny Take a Ride and Devil in a Blue Dress, all that.
Do you remember your first performance?
Oh my goodness, yes, it was sixth grade. It was that Doobie Brothers song, "Oh Blackwater, Keep on Rolling." Yeah.
Because I have this great idea, Rich, and Jeff, it'll be for you and also be Kevin.
Build me a raft, I'm ready for flow.
Well, here's my great idea, though, and we'll do it at the Gray Eagle or something. But what I want to do, guys, is I want everybody to remember their first performance. And I want them to play it. And so you have, you know, like sixth grade, I'm sure you don't have video of it, do you? Performing?
No, I might have a 110 Kodak.
But wouldn't that be great if everybody got together and played the very first performance, you know, so you could have a record of it, you know, all these years later. So that in sixth grade, and so you progressed, and when did you start doing this professionally?
Well, if that implies earning money, I guess we're still waiting. But no, I did. I played in bands through high school and started playing in bars, and then went to New Jersey for a year. Which these guys both lived in New Jersey. There's a weird New Jersey thing
Yeah,
with this outfit. But that was 1981, and then I came back and I joined a band in Detroit that was pretty popular, and we played together for about 8 years, and that was a lot of fun. That band was called Bittersweet Alley, or BSA, and then I went to art school in Detroit and have worked as an artist ever since. I graduated in '88. And so and then we got married and had children. So it was really just in the last 10 years that I got back into music as much as I have.
I'll ask these guys, because my background is from New Jersey as well. So that's where I guess, Jeff, you're from New Jersey originally, and so
Yeah, originally, from northern New Jersey, Morris County.
okay, that's from my wife is from Morristown, so we know that area a little bit. And so same thing to your background. How did you get into music?
I started actually in high school. I think I actually started my junior year. First performance was a senior year talent show, and I don't know, we played Give Me Some Lovin', Taking Care of Business. I don't know, I can't remember the other ones, but it was just a trio, just three of us, and we actually won.
Well, now here's the question, same thing too. Do you have a video of that performance?
Oh, no.
Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't you love to have a video of it though? Wouldn't that be cool?
I think it actually was recorded, and I may have had a copy of it, but I think it might have gotten recorded over. I don't remember. It's been a while.
So you were playing in high school. How do you kind of get from high school to where you are now?
So I went on to UNC Wilmington. After I got out of high school, I went to graduated, and then went down to North Carolina, and that's when I really started playing. I kind of jumped right into it and actually was playing upright back then, and did a lot of jazz, some theater stuff, some pit orchestra stuff. Played a lot of in a jazz combo, weddings, and actually was in a metal band for a while.
Been all over the place.
Yeah. So, but I left Wilmington, came out here actually on a whim. A friend of mine who had graduated was looking for people to come out to Asheville because he was interested in going to UNCA, and he was just looking for people to ride along. And so I said, yeah, sure, I'll go. And came out to UNCA and saw they had a full-fledged recording studio, and I could play electric bass. I was actually in Wilmington. I was on a music education track, and I wasn't really into that. And then came out here in '92, went to UNCA, did kind of jazz performance and audio engineering, and then just played in bands, and played around, lived in Black Mountain for a while, and then in '97, I actually went to Nashville, Tennessee, spent 5 years in Nashville, and moved back here in 2002, and just really been playing ever since. With different groups. I have a day job, so kind of just do it for fun. But
how do you hook up with Rich?
Actually, it was through a mutual friend of ours, bass player who I knew from Wilmington. We went to school at UNCW together. He's got a twin brother who teaches at Appalachian State, and he now teaches at UNC Asheville. But you did a recording session.
Yeah, I did a recording session at Sound Temple with Robert George, and Zach was the bass player.
Zach was the bass player.
And he was terrific. So when I was looking for some new people to play with, I asked him, and he's too busy. He does all kinds of stuff. But he gave me Jeff's number.
Yeah, it's when he called me. You were driving through New Jersey, like not too far from where I grew up.
Yeah, that was
weird. And so that's
like within 5 miles.
Yeah, yeah. So.
And the rest was history. And we'll kind of bring Kevin into the story as well. So Kevin, and may have to talk up a little bit to get so we hear you at the mics, but your background as a drummer started when?
I think when I was about 12, you know, I got my first hi-hat when I was 12. And I had the other drums with that. But when the hi-hat came in, then I was using my 2 feet, my 2 hands. And I guess I was about 12 when it all started like that. And my first gig, I think, was probably in 8th grade. A trio, including me, we played our junior high school dance, and you know, we did a lot of Cream and Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that. And
Now, did you get paid for that?
yeah, I think we did get paid actually. Yeah, it was a public school, so they had a budget, and yeah, we made a little money.
That's pretty cool. So do you have that framed at your house, the first check or first $10 bill you ever made?
Not really. It wasn't like that. I'm glad it wasn't recorded. It was better off not being recorded.
So how do you evolve from a 7th grade gig to where you are now?
Actually, that 7th grade gig, I was playing bass at the time.
Oh, really?
And I transitioned into playing the drums because playing the drums is a bit more fun. But I've been playing drums forever, you know, up till now anyway. So
When you were playing drums, did you ever study under anybody or take lessons?
no, not really. I took just a couple of weeks of lessons at a local music store, but it didn't really help me. So I just played by ear. I played at records and play with friends and stuff like that. So
I wonder, like, can people actually, you know, they talk about like on YouTube, can you learn like to play drums just by listening to records and seeing other people play?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Especially when you could slow the records down to half speed. That was really awesome for
Yeah. And then, yeah, so you evolved, and same thing too. How did you get involved with Rich?
Rich actually reached out to me. I moved to Tryon, North Carolina 2 years ago. And one day I got a call from Rich, and he found me on an online, you know, website. I think it was Bandmix.
Bandmix, yeah.
And so Rich reached out to me, and we decided to give it a whirl, and we jammed together, and it clicked, and
Yeah,
it was good. It was really good.
Now, question, Rich, in terms of you being with these two guys, how often do you rehearse?
generally once a week, and we're playing about 2 or 3 times a month currently. The new record actually came out August 1st, so it's out. It's everywhere on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon. You can order CDs or just download it like most folks do. So the Rich Nelson Band, Fret and Wail, it's out there. And we've been doing some shows, and we just filmed our first video for this record yesterday at our theater in Tryon, which has been really beautifully restored. So that was really a thrill. And our son Lucas helped. He's graduated from UNCA and in their film program, and so he's been working up in Detroit. And he came home and they took a lot of images. I don't know how they're going to edit that down to 5 minutes, but I think it's going to be really cool. It has like a narrative thing with my wife and me, and I think it's going to be a cool video.
By the way, do me a favor, if you remember, but when the video is finished, get me a copy, because I'll also add it to the description on the, you know, on the of this show. You know, I'll say, hey, also catch the video. So I really want to see that. And
Yeah.
we're having some technical difficulties just before the show started taping. So instead of having Rich play, because I think the sound isn't quite the quality we want, Rich, I want to try something here. I'm going to have you kind of introduce some of the songs, we can at least listen to it. And I'll kind of, we're going to screen share. So let me see if I can get this going. And I'll tell you the first song that's up. So I get it right. And we're going to screen share. And so I'll be talking as you introduce the song. And the song, the first one I show, is it okay if I go out of order on this, Rich?
Sure.
Okay, so the first show, I just want to see your screen sharing, and let's see if that's there. And the first song is, and we don't want to get the commercial. Okay, you can hear the commercial. Let me try to get rid of that.
Oh, that's a good
Skip ahead. Okay, first show is, it looks like One More Picture Show. So let me just stop that. Rich, you just want to talk a little bit about One More Picture Show?
I sure do, and that is the one we filmed the video for yesterday. And it's a song. We've lived here in Tryon for 17 years, so this is a song about our movie theater and how much we love to walk into town and see a movie. And I love particularly walking home at night in the dark. And so that's what we tried to capture, was that feeling of going to see a movie with someone you love, and then, but instead of the movie, it's the band rocking out on the stage in front of the screen. And then Lucas, our son, rigged it up to where he's filming us, and so what he's filming in the camera is coming through on the screen, in addition to what he sees of us. It's hard to describe.
Yeah.
It's like a
Okay.
double image.
Very
And,
cool.
should be cool, yeah.
Okay, well, let me see if I can get this going, which I think I can. And so folks will be seeing two things. They'll be hearing one more picture show, and then they'll also be, I think, seeing a picture of you playing the guitar, but we also may see off to the side the group listening to it. So let's give this a shot, Rich, and we'll see how it comes.
One
what's up? And now we're back together again. Let me ask you, so you weren't able to hear the song as I was playing it?
No, can you hear us talking?
No, I couldn't really hear you, but yeah, as we're playing it, we want to keep away from the mics, I guess. But wow, so that song, you wrote that, Rich, or the band wrote it?
I wrote that, yeah.
Okay, talk about the process that all the songs in this new album that's coming out, you wrote all the songs?
I wrote all the songs except for one called Imagination, which is from that band I was talking about in Detroit, Bittersweet Alley. Our singer from that band wrote that song in 1984, so that's a little bit of nostalgia for me. But
So
everything.
very cool. How many songs have you written, ballpark?
Oh my gosh, 250.
Now let me ask the other guys, Jeff or Kevin, do you write any songs at all?
No.
Not
No?
really. No.
No.
So then we'll just kind of pick on Rich here a little bit. I'm fascinated by songwriters. The like, do you write every day, or do you have a discipline to it?
I think it's a little more. You just have to. I play my guitar every day, and when I play my guitar, most of the time I'm just kind of what we might call free associating. I'll just pick it up and just kind of, you know. And if I get like a riff, it might turn into a song, and then I might come up with another section. Or whatever. I mean, but that's what happens is usually you'll start with one riff on guitar or piano, and then you kind of find that second one, what we call a B section, and then sometimes a third one, and one might become the verse, one might become the chorus, one might get swapped out. You might have an instrumental part from a song you wrote a year ago that you plug into the middle. So it's a very random thing, and I wouldn't want it to become too rote, you know, something that's done mechanically. And then as far as I usually do the music first, but a melody will come to me quickly for a vocal, and then I can kind of plug in the words. I just try to say, what is this song is about? What does this song feel like it's about? And to me, this particular song we just played, One More Picture Show, it had a feeling of like it rocks, but it's got a little bit of almost a melancholy or something. And so I just try to tap into this feeling of nostalgia, you know, because we just love going to this theater for the last 17 years, and hopefully we will continue for a long, long time. And so it's just a kind of a meaningful part of our life.
What theater was it?
The Tryon Theater.
Tryon. Okay. So where does the title come in?
One More Picture Show. Like, how many more times will we get to just go to see a movie together, you know?
But I'm saying, do you come up with the title before, during, or after writing the song?
Well, usually by the time you got the lyrics tend to come pretty quickly. If you looked at the lyrics for this song, it's not a lot of words, but that is the chorus, One More Picture Show. And so that became the obvious title too. You know?
Do you ever come up with a name for a record and then write a record afterwards?
Yeah, or for a song particularly, yeah.
What was that?
Well, so all these songs all these three records that we've done have a kind of funny titles. The first one was called Ever Since Now, and that was I just thought that was kind of a silly play on words, you know. Actually, our young son Sam said that once when we were driving in the car. His older brother said, "Ever since when?" And Sam says, "Ever since now." And I thought that's a cool name for a record, and so it was about doing my first solo album, and so it was just kind of who I was as a musician at that point. And then the second record was called 2020 Hearing, and it had a picture of this device that was built in the 50s to listen to outer space, a NASA photo. And the idea was, you know, it's a play on 2020 vision, but 2020 hearing, like a way to. And then the third record, Fret and Wail, you know, these are called frets on the guitar here, and my singing maybe is like wailing as opposed to singing sometimes. So it's supposed to be kind of a joke, like fret and wail.
Now talk about bringing these guys into the picture. So you're coming out now, it's in the process of being out, the third CD or album. By the way, what do you call it now? Is it albums or CDs, or what do you call them?
I call them albums, or because it is a collection of songs, but it's a record or a CD or a new disc, or dropping
download.
soon. Yeah, download. There's all kinds of fancy words now.
Because Jeff said, say download, Jeff. I'm still maybe the old school. I still love a CD,
Yeah.
And my car, the cars you can't get with CD players anymore. You have
No.
to just download, so they still have CDs. But talk a little bit about then. So you have this third album. That's a better way of calling it. And you're going to have now. Are you having a release party, or your upcoming gig is going to feature this? Talk a little bit about that.
Playing the songs live, and we don't have a release party scheduled per se, but we're just enjoying getting out and playing. And we play songs off all 3 records, and we play a couple of cover songs, a Led Zeppelin song and a Cream song, just because we love all that stuff. And so we're kind of sneaking up on, hopefully playing a bunch of gigs and then recording the next record. I'm always looking ahead to the next record myself,
So if folks want to see you live in the Asheville area, talk about where they can do that.
So we are playing the patio show at the Gray Eagle on Friday, September 24th. And that should be a wonderful night. We're very excited about that. We played at the Gray Eagle just before the virus came on strong, March 6th of 2020. And then everything shut down for a year, which is how we were able to do this record in the last year, and really took our time, and so it's been awesome. And now we're excited to be getting out and playing again. Hopefully the virus will move in the right direction, which is not what's been happening lately.
Right, unfortunately. Well, talk about. Let me then see if I can punch up another song here, and I'll have you introduce it first. Let me see if I can get it going then. And see, there we are, I think. Give me a second. And I showed that. Do you have a next song you'd like to play? See if I can find it.
Walking in Circles is the second song on the record.
Give me a second, I can find it. Not finding it. So how about instead if we go to When?
Oh,
Okay.
sure. When is a long one? That's 8 minutes long. It's quite a esoteric song. But we love it. We love playing it live. It's a somewhat philosophical lyric of the idea being when do we find out what it's all about? What is the meaning of this whole thing?
And keep in mind 2 things, guys. One, what I'll probably do, I'm going to punch it up and play a little bit of it. And I'll probably jump in if it's okay without playing the whole thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is that okay? And then what you said, I'm really interested in putting Jeff on the spot, because after we play it, I'm going to ask him to explain the philosophical meaning of it. Jeff, you ready for this?
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, we'll see if I can figure it out as well. So we're going to hear now the Rich Nelson Band on the song is When. Let me see if I can get the, you just heard a bit of a commercial, but here you go. Here's the music. question. So play about half of that. Very cool. That's all instrumental, or is
No,
there
it has lyrics at the end.
there are lyrics at the end? Maybe we'll go back to the lyrics at the end. Um, so that song, I always wondered, like when you write a song and you guys rehearse it, how long does it take to get to the point after writing a song where it's ready to perform?
Well, it's different with every song. Sometimes you just have a jam, and before you know it, it's a song. And other songs, I actually wrote that song about 7 years ago, and it just was kind of on the pile. And then I just something happened to make me pull it out. You know, I don't even know what that is, but
Now I always wondered with the songwriter, after you write the song, does it change over time? Like after 7 years later, do you hear it and then change it a little bit, or?
yeah, it always changes, and of course it changes with each time you play it.
And the players
a
too.
little- yeah, the
From
players, everything
Different
changes.
players play
and
differently.
your feelings about it change too. Like you might like it, and then you might not like it. So
Well, like the question, so Jeff, for example, performing that song, um, like I'm impressed also by musicians. Do you read from music as you're playing it, or you just kind of know it by that time?
Well, I mean, I just learned it off the CD, and or just some recordings he has, and just I kind of just would sort of write my own charts, my own outline of the song, and then we just kind of work on it until we get it.
Okay, so that's okay then. You take the outline and then it changes as you play it and perform it each time.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes a part, live may not work, and we might have to adjust for something, and or we do like a fill or something or a different part, and it might get added or something like that. So yeah.
Kevin, does that happen with you also, Kevin, in terms of playing the drums? Does it kind of evolve over a period of time?
I have to learn the song. I go home, I play it through my stereo, I play to it, and I study it, and it usually doesn't take too long. Rich's music is, it sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's structured pretty well, so it's easy to latch on to and figure out. So, I basically would have to run through a song maybe 10 times, and then I'll be ready to come out and practice with these guys.
What's interesting with drummers, as I even look at you, is you'll see a keyboardist or a piano player, and they're sometimes reading music. But I don't recall ever seeing a drummer, with music in front of them. I guess you could have it, but I've never seen it.
Well, some drummers do read music. I'm not one of them.
Right. No, but I'm saying even if you could read music as you're playing, there doesn't look like too many places you could put a music stand and start reading, the music.
It's a total hands-on, like all the time activity. You don't really get a chance to sort of read. You're basically just reacting to what's going on around you.
Were you a Charlie Watts fan?
Yes, I became one. In the beginning, I thought he was a little bit boring and sort of straight-laced, but I came to love him. I think I came to respect him a lot, and yeah, I'm really sorry that he passed.
Yeah. So it's something to look forward to. So in 40 years, when we have the band playing still, you'll be Charlie Watts' age by the time, the band is still playing. What do you think, Rich? Is that going to be the case? We want to be around for a bunch of years?
I sure hope so. Yeah, I got to tell you that this band has a wonderful chemistry, and I'm really enjoying it. And each person brings their own thing to it, and I compare a band to like a stew or something where you just add these ingredients, and I'm really pleased myself. I think we all are, because you can feel when it's working, and so I think we've got just a good camaraderie going, and that does continue to get better, I think, as time goes on. As long as people enjoy being with each other and everybody's on the same page, I think when you start out strong, you really grow into. It's already happening where we just communicate with a look, or sometimes not even a look, and we'll just things happen. It's hard to describe, but it's pretty wonderful.
And back to Kevin. So in terms of drummers who have influenced you, do any come to mind?
Well, Ginger Baker is one of my favorites, and the drummer for a band called Procol Harum, his name was B.J. Wilson. He's also one of my favorites. He has a lot of style, and I always felt that with his drumming, he could have been a musician of any instrument. He was just such an artist that it wasn't just like drums for him. He was just so musical and so expressive. Those are my two sort of leading influences, I would say.
And Jeff, same question of you. Any people who influenced your music?
I mean, I listen to a lot of players. I mean, I really like Glenn Hughes a lot, and Roger Glover from Deep Purple. I listened to a lot of Deep Purple. Of course, Geddy Lee from Rush in my early days, and a guy. There's a bass player who played with Ronnie James Dio, Jimmy Bain. He was the one when the first Dio concert I went to. I was like, wow, yeah, that guy's great. And of course, he passed away a few years ago. And but yeah, those are some probably I guess some influences. Yeah.
And
You
Rich,
know,
if you, same
Geezer,
question. Yeah.
Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath was one too. But anyway.
And Rich, as your career was evolving, who are some of the folks who you kind of liked?
So as I was saying, I went kind of from the Beatles, the Stones, Creedence Clearwater Revival, all the great music of the '60s as a little kid, to the '70s, Alice Cooper, David Bowie, Mott the Hoople, Queen. Then quickly got into kind of a progressive thing. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I did
Yeah.
have Machine Head, Deep Purple.
Yeah.
There was so much great music. King Crimson and Genesis. I went into a heavy Genesis phase. I loved all the old Genesis. After Peter Gabriel had left is when I discovered a lot of it. But then what I always think is there are bands that bring it back to that rock thing, like Van Halen coming out in the disco age with such just fun rock. And then I'd say Guns N' Roses and Pearl Jam did a similar thing, Nirvana. But I personally love Radiohead a whole bunch too. After I kind of went through that prog thing, which is it's still part of me, but I really got into a heavy Radiohead phase. And when I wasn't in bands, I was going to see bands. I would go see Radiohead and Coldplay and some of these other bands, Muse and such, and I really enjoyed it. But the thing I love about Radiohead is it's the same five guys, and they just do what they want. They live in Oxford, England, where they grew up, and they're all married with kids. And if they want to tour, they tour. If they want to do an album, they do an album. And I think they've really done it right. And they give each other, they all have credit on their material. So even though the singer writes the bulk of it, this way everybody's making the same amount of money. They don't ever have to wonder, like, oh, you just want to do your songs because you'll make more money. That happens in bands. People don't realize it, but that can be, there's people don't realize. Everybody thinks how complicated it is to get popular, but once you are popular, you just have a whole bunch of new challenges. It's probably like being a great actor too, or many things. Being a great author. Once you get to a certain level, it's probably not super duper easy. There's probably just stuff you never even anticipated. That's why when you look at a band like Radiohead or the Beatles or U2 or the Red Hot Chili Peppers, just the fact that, or Springsteen, the fact that they've been able to do this for so long, and they're so good now when you go see them, any band that's been doing it that long, they know how to put on a show. And Bonnie Raitt, it doesn't matter who it is, they've paid their dues and they know what they're doing, and you just gotta respect that. It's like so many things. It's always more challenging than it appears, right? Like boxing. I always compare boxing match. If you've ever boxed, you realize like this is a lot different than it looks on TV. On TV, it looks like maybe I could do this, but man, when you're in the ring, oh my goodness.
Well, your point is so on target. I just saw the film and I recommend it to you three guys. Respect, about Aretha Franklin.
Oh yeah.
What was? Did you see it? Yeah.
No, but she's from Detroit, obviously.
Oh, is she? Right. That's right.
Glasses. My wife used to sell glasses.
But the amazing thing about her was how she went through so many changes, in what she did, and then she concluded on gospel, out of nowhere, and she was fantastic in each stage, so that's kind of amazing that she could shift into like and win awards on 4 or 5 different eras. How do you guys want to be remembered? If they talk about the Rich Nelson Band, the current edition, what do you want people to say about you?
Well, my hope for this band is that we continue to grow and get better and hopefully connect with an audience. And I'd love to play in this area and regionally, and maybe even travel around the nation and internationally. I call that mojo. You got to pick up mojo. And so we're at the bottom of the totem pole now, but if we can build some people that are interested into it, find them and build an audience, and it's funny because that band in Detroit that I was in back in the 80s, it happens quickly sometimes, and I saw it happen with many other bands over the years too. Like it can take a long time, or it's the type of thing that's almost like flipping a switch sometimes. A song catches on, or you play a particular show, and just all of a sudden it's. So that's my hope, is that people recognize that this was a band of, they were serious about what they did, and they had fun when they were playing, and that we liked hearing their music and going to see them and such. We try to make it a lot of fun.
Let's hear one other song if I can munch it up, and
Sure.
let me see where I come up with. And I see I'm trying to think. What was the first one we played, Rich?
Ordinary Man?
No,
Yeah, we didn't play.
One More Picture Show.
Oh, one more.
Right, that was right. We didn't play Hands of Time yet. Is that correct?
Yes.
We didn't listen to it, did we?
No, we didn't.
Okay, let's give that a shot. And again, the annoying thing with this, you get to hear stupid YouTube commercials, but this, we're listening. Before I play it, Hands of Time, tell us a little bit about this song, Rich.
Well, this is the last song on the record, and I come from a family of 5 boys, and our oldest brother died on Good Friday, unexpectedly, of a massive coronary event. And I wrote this song in about a day or two. And so it's just about how we're blessed with all these people in our lives, and then sometimes they're taken away from us.
And when he just died this past Good Friday,
Yeah.
this past year. Sorry to hear. So we're going to hear a little bit of maybe the whole thing, Hands of Time, from the Rich Nelson Band.
Where are you now? I just keep reaching out, thinking of the past. How do I go on? It seems my strength is gone, but now you're only here in our memories. Once I had a brother mine, lost you to the hands of time. I know there will always be a part of you that's part of me. What am I to do? My head's too full to use. My heart just weighs a ton, but every day gets a little better. Once
Good stuff. Question. Great harmony on that. Do I just hear the two of you, or did our drummer sneak? Wait, give me a second. Something. Wait,
You there? I think that's me singing all that.
wait. Give me a second. I'm getting some other music. I don't know what.
Is the YouTube still on?
Hold on one second. We have some. Sorry about that, guys. We had some technical difficulties. We're getting something else from YouTube, but we're back with you guys. And we were talking about that last song, the harmony. I thought was great. Was it just the two of you, or did we have our drummer chiming in there too?
Actually, I think that song is that's all me singing.
But I thought I heard two voices on that. Did I, or is that's just you dubbed over?
Yeah, that's just me singing multiple vocal tracks.
Okay, sounded really good.
Thank
The
you.
now is that when you record stuff? Where do you record?
Right here where we are, I have a setup here, and this is exactly. In fact, if you get, I'm going to send you the CD. I think I sent one already, but if you open it up, it's actually all three albums. If you open it up, the cover, you see where it was recorded, which it's just down here. You know, it doesn't take all that much these days.
Well, I think I told you, Rich, too. If you can, send me two, because I'll do, or one would be fine. Because what I'll do, I'll give, if I get one copy, I'll give it to the station, so they'll play it on their, you know, we try to feature local artists. And if you give me a second one, I'll also use it in my blog and use it as a prize, as a giveaway to somebody listening to the show. So I'd really like to do that. You know what I'm going to do, guys, next time, depending on how this comes out, what I'll do instead, if need be, I'll come to your place, and I should have done that too. That was another option. I could have just recorded it at your place, you know, right there. And we would have solved some of the technical difficulties we had, you know, earlier, but we learned. So we'll do that next time around.
Awesome.
Talk about then, so the upcoming gigs, the big one's coming up, or the next one is going to be at down at Grey Eagle. And you mentioned that's a patio concert. What does that entail?
So they start at 6, and it's just an hour and a half, and then that night the Cannells are playing at the Grey Eagle at night on the main stage. So it's something they started doing a couple of years ago, before the virus.
Okay, so I'd like to see. So it's outside.
It's in their courtyard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have chairs, or you bring chairs, or?
Yeah, yep. There's food and beverages, and it's really nice.
Okay, I really like it, because I don't know, as I get older, I like earlier, you know, so like a 6 o'clock start. So that's my kind of concert. And so are tickets available in advance, or get online?
Yes, and I don't know all the information, but if you go to the Grey Eagles website, they'll fix it up, and it's on our website too, richnelsonband.com. So yeah, that'd be great to see everybody there. I think it's going to be a wonderful night.
Okay. Now talk a little bit about finding out more information about not only Rich Nelson Band, but can we find out also there about Kevin and Jeff, or is that all at the website?
Yeah, there's all the information about us is on the website, all the music, all the videos. When we get this new video, it'll be posted to the website. And of course, it goes out to other websites too. But that's kind of the central. And then we'd love people to sign up for our alerts, and then they'll know where we're playing. And it's always nice to know that people are connecting with the music. So that's always nice to do too.
Now the question I'll ask Kevin and Jeff, prior to this band, Jeff, how many other bands have you been in?
Oh, a lot. A lot of different ones. Yeah, a lot of different ones.
What's the longest you were ever in a band?
Couple of years. Yeah,
Okay.
probably a couple of years.
Okay. And then do you ever, not necessarily now, but have you ever, a lot of musicians play in a couple of different bands at the same time? Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that a challenge for a musician?
It is. It can be, you know, especially with gigging and schedule conflicts. But yeah, it can be. Yeah.
And the same question too of Kevin. You played in other bands, Kevin?
I played in a couple of bands. In the early 80s, I played in a band called Boneyard in northern New Jersey, and that band was headed by Joe Vanazza. Bass player was Walter Pickwood, who lives in North Carolina now, and I played with them for about a year. It was all original and pretty good stuff. And about 10 years ago, I was playing with a bunch of my high school friends. We used to meet in New York, and we didn't play any gigs, but we got together like once a month and booked studio time, and had a good time doing that. But I've been, I have a day job, so
Yeah.
I have to spend most of my time sort of working at my day job. And
I was going to ask you that. I'll ask Jeff that as well. So your day job is what, if I can ask?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm an illustrator, so I draw a lot of portraits. I'm the guy that introduced the portrait drawings that you see in the Wall Street Journals sometimes.
Okay,
So
sure.
I introduced them to that, and I was working for them on staff for a long time, and I've been freelancing since 1987, and it's a full-time job, believe me.
Okay, for sure. And same thing too. Jeff, do you work elsewhere?
Yeah, I'm actually in IT. I've been in IT for about 20 years. So everything from, networking to simple laptop repair, I've probably done it.
Okay. And lastly, Rich, do you do other stuff?
So I worked as an illustrator for 13 years after art school up in Detroit, but I gradually transitioned because I continued to paint the figure and then portraits. So I transitioned into a portrait artist. I also do landscape and still life and teach a bit, but primarily I'm a portrait artist, and I've been doing that now for about 20 years, and it's been wonderful. We've really enjoyed. We're just about to go to Annapolis and deliver a portrait and go to Cape Cod. Now my wife can travel with me because she can work from anywhere. So it's unbelievable the different places it has taken me. I do family portraiture, but I also do what we call institutional portraits of judges or religious folks or people in education, and it's just always different. So I've loved it.
And what I look to see on your next CD, if not this one, I'd like to see a portrait from you for the CD cover. Wouldn't that be cool? Think about that.
Something I've never done, and people have mentioned that. So yeah, or Kevin should do them in his pen and ink. Kevin is like famous, like his pen and ink portraits. If you think of the Wall Street Journal,
I do.
that. So
Well, that's pretty cool. And so just to wrap up, we'll have the two things. If folks want to find out more information about the Rich Nelson Band, best bet is to do what?
richnelsonband.com.
Okay, and they can find out.
Google Rich Nelson Band, and all that stuff will come up.
Okay, also, as I just did before on YouTube, you get all the good stuff on YouTube. And if
Spotify and iTunes and Amazon and anything you want.
Great. And lastly, the upcoming gig next one is when?
That is Friday, September 24th at the Gray Eagle at 6 o'clock.
Okay, great. I'd like to thank you guys for being my guest on this special edition of the Blainesworld Show. I'd also like to thank Amy Prisnash, my producer, and hope to see you folks next Wednesday here on WPVM FM 103.7.